Welcome back to Common Sense. I'm Wendy Bell. I really hope that the ladies on The View are going to be okay. Same with those late night comedians who danced with singing syringes during COVID and told jokes that were 98% negative about Trump. I mean, I wonder if the media are going to dig out of this mess to ever be trusted again. Personally, doubt it. You can feel it, though. A lot of Democrat voters feel betrayed, conned by a party that sold them a BS bill of good for years. Schumer and Pelosi and Jeffries and Obama gaslit them about everything. They pretended Joe Biden was with it, that Kamala was smart enough to replace him, that Trump was a rapist or a racist, a Russian agent, whatever it was. That inflation was transitory, the border was secure, and that chopping off a 13-year-old's breasts is gender-affirming care. The party of hope and change and farcically joy. After 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, 91 criminal charges, and what, 30 women who alleged Trump fiddled with them sexually in some way, they couldn't stick the landing. A huge chunk of America didn't buy it. A lot of Democrat voters did. And they funded a $2 billion campaign slush fund that's now been squandered. And for what? A landslide victory for MAGA? The malaise that strangled Jimmy Carter's presidency is now settled over the left. Democrats say they're depressed. They feel duped and they're doubting. Was any of it real? Can the party of the donkey be saved? Is the Obama era officially dead? Let's bring back the panel, find out. Dan O'Donnell hosts the Dan O'Donnell Show on News Talk 1130. WISN out of Milwaukee. Melanie Collette hosts Money Talk with Melanie on 98.7 The Coast in New Jersey. Ari Hoffman hosts the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 AM KVI out of Seattle. You guys, after taking office, Joe Biden mandated DEI rules across 90 different federal agencies. He opened the border, which was supposed to buy the Hispanic votes, right? The Green New Deal war on oil and gas, it was supposed to buy younger votes. The green lighting of pro-Hamas protests, that was supposed to buy the votes in Dearborn. The leak of the Dobbs decision, supposed to buy the female vote. All of it failed. So, Melanie, you take first swing. Is the Obama era of identity politics officially over?
If it's not over, it is definitely on life support. People are doggone sick and tired of the absolute foolishness. But I'll tell you, the Democrats don't seem to be learning their lesson at all. They are still playing, at least those on the far left, seem to be playing the same old games that they were playing before. Even though their own party played them, you would think that they would be doing some infighting and that there would be a serious civil war, but that doesn't really seem to be going on. Their own party played them, lied to them, gaslit them along with the rest of the country, and there should be a reckoning for that. So if it's not dead, it is on life support and going to need a whole lot of shock treatments to bring it back.
Right. Dan, I've been following Lindy Lee, the prolific Democrat fundraiser who was disavowed by the left after she called them a party of losers for squandering the nearly $2 billion that she helped him raise. Well, apparently Trump scoops in, right? He scoops her up and he puts her on his inaugural committee. Former Democrat Lindy Lee is now a proud Republican fundraiser. I want you to chew on that irony for a moment, Dan.
Well, I don't know if it's really ironic. Democrats have always been really, really good at wasting other people's money. So I'm not super surprised that Lindy would be that upset with the Democrats. It is interesting, though, how many people just like her, billionaires or not, big Democrat bundlers or not, who just had their own come to Jesus moment where they realized that, yes, the Democratic Party is not for us. They've been promising for decades to clean up America's inner cities, but nothing has changed. And they blame systemic racism. They blame Republicans who haven't had power in many of these cities for 100 years. Finally, I think what happened was people understood, and inflation, the border crisis, all of it was really a capital letter wake-up call to everybody that yes. Democrats can't be trusted to govern. They are incompetent at doing the jobs that they're elected to do. And it's no surprise that you had millions of Lindy Lees all come yes. over to Team Trump.
I agree. And Ari, Democrats ignored the polls that had warned against identity politics, never had broad support at all, not even among the black and the brown voters they pandered to. So my question is, do you think Democrats can earn back the trust that they so clearly lost from their base? Or like an alcoholic, do we all have to hit rock bottom in order to get that trust back? Is it possible?
The analogy I always use is a sports team. I'm a lifelong Mets fan. I'm not going to become a Mariners fan just because I live out in Seattle, and I'm certainly not going to become a Yankees fan ever. And it's hard to get some people to say I'm voting for the other team who aren't as involved, who don't realize how much that team has screwed them. Now, if you look at what happened in between Christmas and New Year's, where there was this whole discussion inside MAGA about workers programs from foreign countries, about them coming here, I think it revealed the new plan. And the new plan is MAGA has managed to create this big tent. Donald Trump has managed to pick people from all different political walks of life and get them under the MAGA umbrella. And I think the new plan is really to find wedge issues and to try and divide MAGA. I think that's the thing we need to be looking out for, because they know that everything else they have tried, just like you mentioned at the beginning of this, is 100% dead. So I think now what it's going to be is try to create a civil war inside of MAGA.
Yeah, I think you're totally on the ball with that. And this idea of betrayal, it's making a lot of headlines. Democrats feeling betrayed by their party. Muslim and Arab Americans feeling betrayed. Asian Americans feel it too. Women and non-binary Gen Zers, whoever the heck they are. Melanie, do you think people who feel bitter and betrayed by a party who sold rage over results may actually pose a threat to the Democratic Party?
Oh, I think that this last election cycle proved that with President Trump's campaign strategy. If you do a bit of an autopsy of his campaign strategy, what you'll find is that he built individual coalitions. He built a coalition with the Muslim community, with the Black community, with women. He did all of these little coalitions, and unlike the Democrat Party, he did not need 95% of those voting blocks in order to achieve his goal. He really only needed to scrape a little bit off the top, and that's exactly what he did. So I think that that's a textbook example of what's about to happen if the Democrats don't get their act together.
All right, so let's turn it around. Dan, you get my last minute. What do you think Trump has to do to win over America's disenfranchised Democrats? Does it boil down to economics first?
Well, I think everyone was really disenchanted primarily by the porous southern border. Yes, you feel politics most acutely in your pocketbook, but man, oh man, all of the illegal immigrant crime, the fact that cities' budgets are on tilt. This is a real visible failure of the Biden administration. Trump gets the border under control. I think that'll go a long way to winning even more people over than he already has.
I don't disagree, because it's touching everybody's zip codes. Guys, love having you here. Thank you for that, and come on back.